At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Tampa Bay Rays. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Citi. Learn about Citi perks at Mets.com/Citi. By your tri-state Audi dealers, take a test drive today. And by Nationwide, speak with Rich Grillo in Massapequa or James Finero in Bethpage today. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. I'm Gary Cohen. Keith and Ron join me in just a little bit as the Mets open an 11-game homestand with the first of 3 against the Tampa Bay Rays. And the Mets will trot out Jacob deGrom tonight. deGrom coming off 2 mediocre outings. First time you can really say that this year. 3 runs allowed in each of his last 2 starts. But he will try again for his elusive 6th win of the year. The Mets absurdly are 3-10 in his last 13 starts, despite the best ERA in the major leagues. Meanwhile, Steve Gelbs is on the field, standing by with Mets manager Mickey Callaway. Steve?
Thanks so much, Gary. And Mickey, All-Star break just around the corner. We're just past the halfway point of the season. Your first year as a manager, what have you taken out of it at this point?
You know what, I'm really enjoying the National League. You know, obviously not very familiar with the ins and outs of it coming in, but I'm enjoying the 1,000 extra thoughts you have to have a game. Just managing in general, being around the guys, getting to know them, and having those tough conversations that are needed every day is something I really enjoy, especially the leadership part of it. So, you know, I'm really enjoying myself.
What has been more difficult as a manager than you expected it would be?
You know, I think that coming into the season, obviously, you know that you have to stay consistent. And doing that, instead of just talking about it, especially when things have gone the way they've gone, has been difficult. But we're doing our best to prepare every day and get the guys in a good spot to go out there and compete and try to win games. Unfortunately, it hasn't happened as much as we'd like, but we're doing a good job of staying consistent with all those things.
Mickey, you've talked a lot, especially over the last couple of weeks, about how much as a group and as an individual you're learning. Is there one specific thing that you can point to that you say, I've really learned this in the last 3 months?
You know what, I've learned that, you know, coming into the season, you can have all the expectations you want, but going out there and getting them done are a little bit different. And trying to live up to expectations is not a good thing. We have to go out there and put ourselves in a spot to go out there to succeed and not worry about our failures and come the next day worried about trying to improve. And as long as we can do that, you know, I think we'll be in a good spot. And I'm definitely learning that that is the case and not just knowing that from, you know, listening to other people and getting feedback.
Mickey, I really appreciate you giving us a few minutes here before first pitch. Thanks a lot. Good luck tonight.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot.
All right, Gary, back to you.
Thanks, Steve, and thanks, Mickey. Mets will have a chance to sleep in their own beds for the next 3 weeks. 17 straight games in the city of New York. Tonight it's the Mets and the Rays. All the action on SNY. cash if a Mets player hits a home run off the New York lottery sign. Current bullpen jackpot is $210,000. Go to sny.tv/New York Lottery to enter. Be at Citi Field tomorrow. The Mets take on the Rays at 4:10 p.m. The first 25,000 fans in attendance will receive a Jacob deGrom bobblehead, courtesy of your local Ford dealers. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets.
I want one.
Which brings us, Keith, to the AT&T Achieving More stat. Notice that 4 of the 5 pitchers listed there with the lowest ERAs in the National League all pitch in the National League East. A Met, a Brave, a Nat, a Phil. What's Lester doing in there? deGrom at the top of the heap, and he'll try and keep it going tonight on a nice night at Citi Field. deGrom's first pitch is coming right up. The loss in Miami his last time out, 5 brilliant innings, and then by his own admission, he tired in the 6th inning and gave up 3 runs and wound up dropping that game. Here is the Tampa Bay starting lineup. First visit for the Rays to Citi Field since 2009, first year of the ballpark. The former Nat Wilson Ramos having the best offensive year of his career, and he is certainly on the trading block heading toward the deadline. Matt Duffy, the former Giant, finally healthy, and he's having a good year. Otherwise, just a whole lot of people in that lineup for the Rays as they take on deGrom tonight.
Well, the Toyota numbers, he tired even with an extra day of rest in his last start. To show you how tough it's been for deGrom when he goes on the mound, in his last 11 starts, the Mets have scored 28 runs. 12 of those were in one game in Colorado.
So Jake has had back-to-back starts where he's given up 3 runs. Second time that's happened this year after an incredible stretch where he basically was giving up nothing. Kevin Kiermaier having a real problem getting going since coming back from 2 months on the disabled list with a thumb injury. He'll lead off for the Rays. First pitch by DeGrom is outside high, and we're underway. Jake starts the night leading the major leagues in ERA at 1.84, third in the National League in strikeouts. And Kiermaier can't catch up with a high fastball, 1-1.
Welcome back, Eric.
It's great to have the three of us together again.
This night only. Don't blink. Taking high 2-1. So this is Rod.
Yeah.
You saw him in Toronto. This is Keith. You haven't seen him since last weekend, and I'm Gary.
I'm on Instagram and Twitter, so I see Keith all the time. I think I see you more.
Well, I had some time off, and I was active.
Yes. Well, you had your daughters. Beautiful.
You are overactive. That's hit up the middle, and Kiermaier's got a base hit to start the night. Takes a wide turn, going to try for two. The throw by Nimmo, short hop by Rosario, too late. And Kiermaier has a hustle double to start the ball game.
Well, you want to know why this team that's doesn't have depth is 43 and 43. It's this kind of play right here.
Just got a little more urgency there, and again, you've got to know your opponents, who can run, who can't run,
and also the aggressiveness of Kiermaier. This is the kind of player he is.
Yes. He surprised the center fielder, surprised the shortstop, surprised the entire Mets team.
called flat-footed.
So a leadoff hustle double for Kiermaier, and now Matt Duffy, who's 6th in the American League with a .314 average, and he takes a first pitch slider for a strike. Duffy's missed most of the last couple of seasons. Heel problems and Achilles surgery last year cost him the entire year.
Former Giant.
I mean, he played one full season in the big leagues, finished second in the Rookie of the Year for the Giants in 15. And this is really the first full season he's played since, and he's played right up to that level that he did in his rookie season.
And they traded him for Matt Moore, the left-hander who went over to the Giants.
Spots the inside of the fastball, and it's 0-2.
Going after him, a little backup slider first and a fastball in. Duffy is kind of a guy that can handle the bat. He's looking to advance the runner.
Rookie first baseman Jake Bauers on deck. Rosario trying to keep Kiermaier close at second. 5 steals this year for Kiermaier. It was interesting watching the aggressiveness of Kiermaier on the bases there, because you know he's known as a great center fielder, but he's also hurt himself a couple of times being aggressive, and was talking the other day about how he's a little more cautious going back against fences, not cautious at all taking the extra base. 1-2 coming to Duffy, and he chops one toward the middle of the diamond. Rosario there to field it, and that's the first out as Kiermaier goes to third.
Productive out there with 2 strikes by Duffy.
Anything to the left of the shortstop, you advance automatically. Ball up the middle, never a hesitation. Mets are going to bring the infield in, and a big shift on the right side for Jake Bauers.
And Frazier holding against Kiermaier at third. This is something I don't think any of us ever saw before this season, and we've seen several teams deploy this in these shift situations with a runner at third and less than 2 out.
I just don't see the necessity, Gary, to be on the bag as Frazier is. You can be within the cut of the infield with that little the arc of the infield. You can get 8 feet off. No one's going to steal home plate.
Give a feint once in a while, right?
But does it give your infielders, presumably your trio on the right side, a better chance of throwing them out at the plate on a contact play if you keep them a little closer?
Yeah, but you're also exposing a big left side of that infield.
Well, what DeGrom would really like is a strikeout here against Bauers, who's been struggling lately, just 3 for his last 27. And he flares one foul.
Your Lexus Metsy defense, Mesoraco back behind the plate after that concussion protocol came out all negative. Happy for Devin back in the starting lineup. Batista is your starting right fielder, folks. He's been out there too long now. I mean, he's every day in right field.
Until Cespedes gets back. We were told today he's doing more baseball activities down in Florida.
And Bruce has still got a long way to go, too.
1-2 coming to Bowers, and it's up and away. Jake Bowers, just 22 years old, originally drafted by San Diego. Remember that deal a few years ago where Will Myers went from Tampa Bay to San Diego, Trey Turner went from San Diego to Washington? Well, that's when the Rays got Bowers in that three-way deal.
Joe Ross went to Washington too in that deal.
I think Washington got the better end of that one.
Yep. I mean, Myers is a nice player, but Trey Turner is the best player in that deal, unless Bowers turns out to be a star.
Well, they thought Bowers, they think Bowers is going to be a star. You said 22 years old, from Marina High School. The Mets' Kevin Elster was from Marina High School. There's Kevin Cash, the manager.
Kevin Cash, who was on the same Cleveland staff as Mickey Callaway. And they've been in teasing mode ever since this series came up on the schedule. Fastball got him looking, and Bowers knew it. DeGrom, with a runner at third and less than 2 out, gets the kind of strikeout you need. 2 out.
Well, Cash is 40 years old, still the youngest active manager. 4th year in the job. He started when he was 37.
Still waiting for his first winning season. Last winning season for Tampa Bay, and their last postseason was 2013. Here's Wilson Ramos, the former Nat, having himself an outstanding year. Well, there you see the Rays started out 1-8, kind of the flip of what the Mets did early in the season. They've been playing very well lately. They've won 9 of their last 12. Happ slowly toward third. Frazier grabs it right at the bag, and with the slow-footed Ramos running, he's able to throw him out to end the inning. And DeGrom works around the leadoff double by Kiermaier. Mets come to bat in the bottom of the first with no score. Sunbeam coming through there. Well, the Mets are facing an opener tonight, so they're going to face a righty to start. They'll probably face a lefty after that. So all you can do is throw up your hands as a manager when you write out the lineup and just put out your best unit. And this right now is what Mickey Callaway considers his best unit.
And I think because the left-hander's coming in after this first inning, that's why Flores is in the lineup at first base.
Ryan Stanek is the opener. Don't call him a starter tonight for the Rays.
Ryan and a bevy of relievers in his last start were able to beat Justin Verlander in the Houston Astros.
Brandon Nimmo leads off at a better series in Toronto after struggling mightily in a 1-for-21 skid. He went 2 for 7 with 3 walks in Toronto in the 2 games. 9th in the National League in both on base and slugging percentage. Nimmo, Bautista, and Cabrera for the Mets against Stanek, who throws his off-speed pitch, his splitter, and it's 0-2.
A wicked splitter, and you can see that thing dive, and he throws it hard.
This is the 10th time that Stanek has started a game. The last 7 he has not allowed a run. And he strikes out Nimmo on 3 pitches for the first out. 7 starts in a row not allowing a run. That's a major league record.
It is, Gary.
He broke the record set by Oral Hershiser and Don Drysdale and Zach Greinke. How many innings has Stanek pitched in those 7 scoreless starts?
9.
9 2/3.
9 2/3, which is less than Oral threw in his last start when he had to go 10 innings
That's
against
right.
San Diego.
I mean, what the concept of the opener is doing, in addition to, you know, just creating another thing to talk about, is it skews a record like that.
That's right.
Because a starting pitcher is being used in a way that a starting pitcher has never been before.
Well,
depending on how you measure it, as Bautista takes a breaking ball for a strike, this is either the 16th or 18th opener, relief pitcher starting a game that the Rays have used. And Stanek has been by far the best. In his 9 games started, he has a 1.42 ERA. The other guys who've started, coming out of the bullpen to start, 16.20.
Yeah.
the Jeep starting infield defensively for your Rays. Wilson Ramos, I'll stick with the catchers. Oh, I love him. But you fine hitter, center fielder, obviously the Gold Glover, platinum winner, Kevin Kiermaier.
And he's got a cannon.
And he's, well, he's also should be Spider-Man. He's able to leap tall. When Superman, leap tall buildings, Spider-Man scale fences.
And what I like about Kiermaier, unlike some guys who rob home runs, he plays shallow.
Yes, he does.
2-2 to Bautista, and he takes low and away, 3-2. We talked about it in the top of the inning. Kiermaier, a hip fracture last year, a torn thumb ligament this year, and maybe not being quite as aggressive going into those walls as he's been in the past. 3-2 to Bautista with Cabrera on deck, and that's too high. Ball 4. Another walk for Bautista, who started the day with a .425 on base percentage as a Met. So that's when they first used an opener, and their team ERA is the best in baseball since then, but it's a little misleading.
It's cute
because what's actually happened in that stretch is that their real starting pitchers, talking about Blake Snell and Nate Eovaldi, they've been fantastic. The openers, they've been kind of up and down. But the totality of it has worked for them. And there you go. So the starters, the openers, the relief guys, 5.56. The other starters, 2.62. And again, have there been 15 games? Have there been 17 games? It depends how you classify it. Good splitter there by Stanek, and it's 0-2. But you know, the reason they're doing it is because they don't have enough real starting pitchers.
Yeah, they don't have depth, which a team like Tampa Bay that's challenged fiscally to put together a team with a lot of depth, and that's why they're kind of going to this new concept.
Now they'll do it less starting tomorrow because they get starting Monday because they get Chris Archer back from the disabled list, and that'll give them 3 legitimate starters.
I pitched with the Oakland A's that tried this experiment in 1993, and this is how it worked for that team. They were losing 5-0 by the 5th inning almost every single game, but it's working much better for Tampa Bay.
I guess it all depends on the makeup of your club. If you have a guy like Stanek who can come in and give you a couple of power-packed innings, so much the better. 2-2 now to Cabrera with Michael Conforto on deck.
So for you folks at home, we tell you all the time that this certain pitcher doesn't pitch well the third time through the lineup. So that's what they're doing here, is they're getting the guy that comes in after Stanek. He only has to go through that lineup twice before he's taken out.
But of course, there's a more traditional way of deploying your personnel with that still not happening, right? You could start the guy who's going to pitch the, the 2 times through the order and bring in a guy like Stanek in the 6th or 7th.
Yes.
That's the way most teams have handled it, but the Rays feel it works better this way. Three and 2 with 1 out. Don't expect Bautista to run. He does not, and Cabrera strikes out on the 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Second strikeout for Ryan Stanek.
One thing about I've seen from Stanek right now, he throws hard, he's straight, and he's been a lot down the middle. And there's the big power swing there. Uppercut, you're not going to catch up with that ball from the belt up.
So now Conforto, who had himself an opposite field RBI hit in the Mets last game on Wednesday. Always an encouraging thing to see. But doing that consistently, still something Michael's trying to figure out.
It was on a high fastball away, 2 guys, and he got on top of it and hit it the other way. It's impressive.
Well, the consistency, as Gary said, has got to come back. If you look at it right now, he's hitting 224. We're halfway through a season.
I mean, his on-base percentage is where it's normally been, 346, because he's drawn a ton of walks. But the power hasn't been there. The production hasn't been there.
Well, the 26 RBIs, that's going to be a little over 50 in the course of a full season. This was a lot more was expected of Conforto.
And 10 home runs. He had 27 in 5 months last year. So that's way down as well. And he goes after a splitter, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, this is the time of year when people like us or the media, newspapers, can start to project, what your season's going to look like, because you're halfway through.
Double up those halfway numbers. Mets are playing their 84th game tonight, just past the halfway mark. And Stanek gets through the opening inning with 3 strikeouts to work around a walk.
Go in the showers.
2 true outcomes for Stanek.
Not good enough.
No score after 1. Second inning with no score. Joey Wendell leads off against Jacob deGrom and fouls away the first pitch he sees. Wendell has played a lot of second base for the Rays this year, playing left field tonight. Got a few versatile guys like that. Wendell, also the guy on deck, Daniel Robertson, who's played all over the place. deGrom worked around a leadoff double in the first inning. Popped up on the left side for Rosario. 1 out. MLB.TV is now available at a lower price for $82.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV to take advantage of this special offer. Daniel Robertson, one of 2 Daniel Robertsons in the American League. This one is 24 years old and a lot taller than the other one. And a first pitch fastball on the corner.
Came over from the A's and the Yunel Escobar Ben Zobrist trade.
Now tipped and held by Mesoraco 0-2. Well, there's warm-up action in the Rays bullpen.
Well, he only struck out 3 that inning, so.
Yeah. Taking high 1-2. Andrew Kittredge was up. He is no longer up. So I don't know if they're going to change pitchers or not. They may wait.
Well, of the 9 starts, this is the 10th start for Stanek.
6-incher. Mesoraco throws him out, 2 down.
Worm killer.
Nice to see Devin back behind the plate after getting whacked in the helmet the other day in Toronto.
Pitcher's humor when you see someone hit a ball like that, you always say, boy, grown man hit that.
You take particular enjoyment out of it, Ronnie.
I do. I do.
This was Devin on Tuesday. First he got the ricochet, and then the follow through on the swing.
Oh.
That one really stung. And they gave him the concussion test. They did it again the next day, and fortunately he passed all the tests and he's back in the lineup tonight. Here's Malik Smith, who we once saw as an Atlanta Brave.
Nice shot.
Into the air to deep right center, but Bautista goes back to the track, and it's over his head, off the wall as the door opens, and Bautista looks like he might have been shaken up. Smith legs his way all the way to third. Bautista hit the door, it opened, and I think because it opened, it caused him to strain something, and he is shaken up.
That's the second time that gate is opened up, that door, I should say. Remember the Yankees series?
Well, it was left open at the beginning of the game.
Yes.
This time he kicked it open when he hit the wall. And because he was using it to brace himself and it gave way, it caused him to extend that leg further than he intended. Now he's not calling for the trainer, and it looks like he's going to be okay. But that should just not happen.
Come on.
I mean, it's supposed to be some kind of latch on that door so that doesn't happen, right?
Well, I'm sure there is. That's malpractice.
So it's a triple for Malik Smith. Here's the number 8 hitter, Willie Adames, the shortstop. Second extra base hit against deGrom as Malik Smith, who's not blessed with great power, nearly hit one out of the ballpark. Adames, the rookie shortstop, hitting just .230 through his first 74 big league at bats.
Well, as Gary said, you know, he could have been hurt. There's just no excuse for that.
I mean, you've got to count on that fence being sturdy enough to not give way when you try and brace yourself.
Oh, you think they got video games back there? That's the problem? Jeez.
2-1 to Adames with the pitcher on deck. And Johnny Field has come out on deck to pinch hit if that spot comes up. And there's Kittredge throwing again. So it looks like Stanek's work is done.
Well, I hope that Jacob gets Adames out. I want to see this Stanek throw another inning. I like his stuff.
I don't know if he will or not. Thomas goes after the slider 3-2.
This is unique, right? In a way, if this was a pure National League game, the pitcher would certainly hit next, and Jacob could be very careful with Adames.
Now the Rays have a 5-man bench. And now Field is going back to the dugout, and Stanek is coming out on deck.
Stanek or C.J. Cron?
Foul tip, strike 3. So DeGrom has his second strikeout of the night, and he works around the 2-out triple off the bat of Malik Smith. Batista appears to be running okay as he comes off. Obviously a big Jose Lima fan.
Yeah, it's
I don't remember a Retire on the Met roster. Do you?
oh, they have an accent there. Okay.
Well, it's a lovely sentiment. There's plenty of room up there.
Oh, plenty.
Wilmer Flores leading off in the home second against Ryan Stanek, and he grounds one down to third. First fair ball off from at bat tonight. Matt Duffy throws him out one away. So Stanek getting a second inning after his turn didn't come up.
Stanek named, ironically, after Ryan Sandberg.
And it's ironic because his entire family is Cardinal fans.
That's right, he's a St. Louisan.
So why would a family of Cardinal fans name their son after one of the most revered Chicago Cubs, the Cardinals' arch enemy?
That's sacrilegious in St. Louis.
It's like being a Mets fan naming your kid Chipper or something.
Right. Well, or being Chipper and naming your kid Shea.
Well, that was a jab.
Bit of irony.
Yeah.
Todd Frazier had a good road trip, 6 for 18 with a couple of home runs. He also has a home run in his only career at bat against Ryan Stanek.
Stanek is a burly right-hander, isn't he? Strong. Well,
of his 9 starts, he's only gone 2 innings. Well, I shouldn't say starts. Opening entree act.
Oh, very nice.
He's only gone 2 innings once.
You know that entre act means between.
Well, it's all right. You get it.
Don't let the truth get in the way of good TV, Gary.
It sounded good.
Lid lifter.
Raise the curtain.
Frazier takes a strike. It's 3-2. Devin Mesoraco on deck.
I saw an amazing play with my son, but 3 hours and 50 minutes.
Did you
50.
see, that was the not the magic one.
No, the Iceman cometh.
Oh, my, you took your son to
Mr. Washington. Yeah, he wanted to see it.
Under the glove of Stanek, but positioned perfectly is Robertson to throw out Frazier, 2 out.
He's a little young for that, isn't he? He's a toddler.
No, this is I got old kids too, you know.
Ronnie's family is multi-generation.
I was going to say, holy cow, I was a little.
You get a lot of bad looks. You bring a 2-year-old to the theater.
Well, as long as he's well behaved, he, however, might fall asleep very quickly.
That's right.
Now Mesoraco. Devin did something on Tuesday in Toronto he had not done before as a Met, and that's hit a home run before the 7th inning. He actually hit one his first time up. Stanek's got good stuff.
Yes, he does. Just seems like a waste of time to waste this kind of talent on an inning, 2/3, or 2 innings. This is terrific.
I mean, he's got closer stuff.
Yes, he does.
Right? Working at the beginning.
He's got 3 good pitches, though, the breaking ball and the split finger.
Well, it was a first-round pick, right? 29th overall in 2013 out of Arkansas.
That would be the University of Arkansas to the rest of you. 1-2 coming. Buries the splitter, 2-2.
He's pitched a couple times since he was the opener because the Marlins and Rays played, what, 33 innings over 3 days.
They had a 16-inning game Tuesday, which the Rays won. Chopped slowly and foul.
Has a very, very serious look on his face.
I mean, the bottom line is that the Rays have pitched well. You know, regardless of how they've gone about it. 4th best ERA in the American League, 2nd fewest home runs allowed in the American League, and even better lately, they won 9 of 12, and over that stretch, their staff ERA is 1.92. Mesoraco lines one into left field. He's got the Mets' first hit. So a 2-out single for Mesoraco.
Goes down and gets the slider here. Let's go with one hand. Hands back. That's nice hitting. As long as your hands stay back and you've got good balance, you can adjust to that breaking ball.
So Mesoraco's aboard with 2 out, and now Rosario. Rosario sat the last game in Toronto on Wednesday. He had an odd road trip offensively in that he went 1 for 8, but drew 6 walks.
Somewhat intentional, right?
Yeah. But he had the 3-walk game in Miami, and that was no intentional walks included. Baby steps.
You cannot take a big old whack at this guy's fastball. Watch the back foot, which is something we always see from Rosario. And the back foot should always be your anchor.
Not for Clemente.
Or Aaron, for that matter.
And Rosario strikes out to end the inning. 4 strikeouts in 2 innings for Ryan Stanek, and almost certainly that's the end of his tenure in this game. So the opener getting it done for the Rays. The Mets starter will go back to the mound when we come back. when the Mets take on the Rays at 1:10 p.m. The first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive a UN assessment as shin guard, courtesy of Foxwoods Casino. Plus, all kids 12 and under can run the bases postgame in the Mr. Met Dash, presented by Northwell Health. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. Third inning, and we'll get a pinch hitter for the Rays. Johnny Field will bat for Ryan Stanek.
2 scoreless and a cold one.
Oh, man, I don't know if they're going to have a cold one down there. A cold what? Gatorade?
And now the Rays get a lefty, Ryan Yarbrough, up in the bullpen. He's been a prominent middle of the game guy in these opener games for the Rays. There's Yarbrough. Field hitting at .216 with 6 home runs. Well, those are Jake's last 2 starts. The last one against Miami, he looked tremendous those first 5 innings. And then Brian Anderson took him deep in the 6th and said after the game that he had tired. He only threw 84 pitches in that start. And he goes upstairs to strike out the pinch hitter Field for the first out. Third strikeout for Jake, first time through the batting order.
There's just something special about that 4-seamer that comes out of the hand of DeGrom. We see a lot of pitchers try to pitch up on the zone, and the hitters are able to take the pitch. They cannot off DeGrom.
Why do you think that is?
He starts that ball, and it looks hittable, chest high, and it never drops in the strike zone. It stays true, and it almost looks like it picks up speed.
I mean, they always talked about a rising fastball, which is physically impossible, but it does maintain its level. And that, I guess, is the sign of a high spin rate fastball. Kevin Kiermaier fouls one back.
Also, remember how he got there. He got there with sliders away, getting ahead in the count, and then the first fastball that Field sees is eye high.
You know, Nolan Ryan, you had to make him get the ball down. Roger Clemens, who we faced in the World Series, you had to make him get the ball down. Hard throwers. The ball has a lot of giddy up upstairs. You get him, make him get it down on the knees. You see it better as a hitter.
But of course, also, how many high ball hitters are there these days? That's missed inside with a slider. 2-2.
I think the less difficult thing about pitching in today's game is there's a brand of hitting throughout the lineup, as opposed to there was a time each and every hitter had their own approach.
You know, we've talked a lot in recent days about hitters taking advantage of what's given to them, right, and taking the ball the opposite way against the shift. But doesn't that also apply if you've got a low ball swing? Wouldn't you be more inclined to lay off high fastballs? And we've seen so many hitters vulnerable to them.
Look into your strength. That's what it's called, Garrett. Look at that.
He can't high fastball, and Kiermaier's out. That's 3 straight strikeouts for DeGrom.
Okay, if you are a hitter, like let's just say Kiermaier right now, who swings up at the high pitch. Now, granted, he's been injured. He's having a tough year. That's a pitch I cannot handle. I must learn to lay off, and I must look down, waist to the knees. That's where I like the ball, and take anything up before I have 2 strikes on me. And you discipline yourself in batting practice.
Line to right, Bautista has to leap, but he reels it in to retire Matt Duffy, and DeGrom has his first 1-2-3 inning of the day. Bautista showing no ill effects after his encounter with the bullpen gates. Looking nimble. Still no score.
you have to have the right team to do it against, in my mind. But you know, what they're ultimately trying to do is to eliminate one of their starters having to face the top of the lineup one extra time. And you know, I think that if they can get 4 or 5 out of their starter and can face the best hitters in the lineup one less time, that they feel like that's an advantage for them. You know, some of the minuses are, you know, you have to go tell a starter that, hey, you're not starting. So how does that make him feel? You know, does he feel like, oh, well, you don't have faith in me, things like that? So there's the player part of it that is probably really big. So you have to have the right personnel. You have to have brought the players up the right way. You know, you have to explain it to them. So that's a tough part of it. And I'm sure that Kevin Cash has to manage that a lot.
Ryan Yarbrough comes in and strikes out Jacob deGrom on 3 pitches.
And the other pro thing for the Tampa Bay Rays is that if you have this ability to start Stanek, who throws 98, hard split finger and slider, now you bring in a softer tossing lefty, then you can bring a righty into the after him. So the hitter, the lineup, sees different pitching all the time and can never get in a groove where they've had a few pitches and at bats against a certain pitcher.
Nimmo shoots one to shortstop. Adames on the backhand, throws wide, and it goes off the glove of Bowers. Nimmo heads to second, and he'll make it safely there. Routine play for Adames, but the rookie made a wide throw. It'll be an error on the shortstop all the way.
I don't know. The first baseman's got to come up with this. I know it's not a perfect throw, but I mean, how bad is this throw?
Oh, he just missed it.
That's an error on the first
That could be
baseman.
E3.
I agree with you both.
I mean, come on.
That's Clank. Eye chart. What's the ruling, Gare?
E6.
Oh, no, that's E3.
I agree with you, especially watching it a second time. So the Mets will try and take advantage. First runner in scoring position for the Mets tonight. Bautista walked his first time up. And he takes a cutter inside for ball 1. Let's go to the M&M Suite Seats, and to Steve Gelbs, whose report tonight is brought to you by M&M. Steve?
Gary, back to the Tampa Bay pitching staff for just a second. You heard Mickey Callaway speak about the challenge it has to present for Kevin Cash dealing with his players. I spoke with pitching coach Kyle Snyder about just that, and certainly this is a green group of pitchers, so it's a little bit easier for the Rays. It works for them, but there is a fair amount of navigating just in terms of conversations daily, especially, Snyder says, when you get guys coming out of the pen for these, I guess, middle relief roles, but the starter portion of the game, they throw a few innings and they feel like, hey, maybe I should be a starter. So you have to have those constant conversations, and the fact that you can potentially, with this unit, graduate to becoming a full-time starter if you show the organization enough. Snyder was saying that is something that certainly is a carrot at the end of the stick for a lot of these pitchers.
In Yarbrough's case, he's a rookie. And this is a way to massage his way into the majors. He's averaged 4 innings an outing. 5 of those starting, 15 relief.
Just think about it. He has only 5 starts, 15 relief, like you said, Gary. Got 2 more wins than deGrom.
Well, it's just being in the right place at the right time.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the thing about being the opener. You can't never get a win. You can get a loss.
Yes, you can.
You can't win. At least according to the current rules. Cabrera on deck, 3-2 to Bautista. And he comes inside, ball 4. So Bautista draws yet another walk. And the Mets have 2 men on for Cabrera. By the way, Ryan Stanek, 2 scoreless innings, extended his major league record. That's now 8 straight starts without allowing a run. Sorry, Oral.
I think I just heard Oral throw up somewhere.
Apples and oranges, Ronnie. Apples and oranges.
There should be an asterisk. Oral. Don't worry, there'll be an asterisk.
Cabrera struck out his first time up against Stanek. Now turns around about right-handed against Yarbrough. Ryan Yarbrough Came out of the same college baseball program as Justin Verlander.
That's right.
Old Dominion. 4-year pitcher at Old Dominion. Cutter misses inside, 1-1. Now the Mets last in the National League in a lot of offensive categories. There's one of them. And worse at home. Mets are averaging less than 3.2 runs per game at home this year. Over 4 runs per game on the road. Which is why the Mets are 14-26 at home this year. 1-2 to Cabrera, and the changeup off the plate. 2-2.
That's what you're going to see from Yarbrough. A lot of different arm angles. He doesn't overpower you. Control with that fastball placement, and then a lot of sliders and changeups.
Two coming. Hit toward the hole, base hit. Nimmo to third. He'll be waved home. The throw to the plate by Wendell skips into the cutoff man, and the Mets have the lead. As Dribble Cabrera finds a hole, drives in Nimmo, and it's 1-0 New York. RBI number 49 for his dribble.
Cabrera's hot again. Went through that little period where he struggled, but back on it like he was in the beginning of the year. Wendell, who plays more infield and outfield, does not have a good arm.
No, he really had a short throw. He couldn't even reach the cutoff man on a fly. He one-hopped the cutoff man. Cabrera likes that ball down. Right-handed.
Kyle Snyder, the pitching coach for the Rays, out to talk to Yarbrough. Nobody up behind him in the bullpen. Again, this is their starter in the middle of the game. They expect length from him 1 or 2 times around the batting order.
Kevin Cash met Snyder when he pitched with the 2007 Red Sox, got himself a ring. He was on the postseason roster, but did not pitch.
He came up as a highly touted prospect with Kansas City at the beginning of his career, Kyle Snyder. Here's Conforto with 2 on and 1 out. Michael's numbers against lefties are surprisingly good considering his overall numbers. In fact, he's hit for a higher average against lefties than he has against righties.
Well, 235 to be precise against left-handers, and really a befuddling 218 against right-handers.
And the home run rate is about the same. Problem is the number is startlingly low. 3 infielders on the right side against Michael. And he goes after the curveball and misses 1 of 2. I mean, Yarbrough's got a starter's repertoire.
Yes, he does.
4 pitches, doesn't throw hard, but he's got a craftiness about him that is associated with a certain brand of left-hander. And a curveball strikes out Conforto. He doubled up on the curve to get him. His second strikeout in the inning.
That is strike. Sorry,
They never call right-handers crafty, do they?
No, they don't. I became crafty at the end. But Yarbrough drops down with that slider a little bit, makes it a little tougher for the left-hander.
Oh, they call right-handers crafty.
Name one.
Oh, Jim Lomborg of my day.
In your day.
After he hurt his arm.
Yeah, when he started out, he was not crafty. He was
I know.
lights out.
Well, that's what he gets for going to Aspen and skiing.
Well, that's the fruits of winning a Cy Young.
Right.
Gosh.
Pitch in the 7th game of the World Series against Bob Gibson.
How many years removed from Stanford? I think he went right to the big leagues from Stanford.
Rick Reed, was he crafty?
Yeah, I mean, so was Greg Maddux, if you want to talk about that. But nobody ever called him crafty.
You're right.
They called Glavine crafty.
Yeah,
They didn't call Maddux crafty.
True.
They called Maddux a master. Walmer lines one right at the shortstop, and Thomas grabs it to end the inning. Let's get an unearned run against Yarbrough in the 3rd. Lead 1-0 going to the 4th. Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. That's the young lady, Haley Dawson, who threw out the first pitch tonight. 8 years old. She's making a tour of the major league ballparks, throwing out first pitches with her 3D robotic hand. She was born with Poland syndrome, which caused her to be born with 3 missing fingers, and that's why she has that robotic hand. And I think this was her 19th different ballpark where she's thrown out the first pitch this year. Rob comes in on the hands of Jake Bowers and gets ahead 1-2.
I mean, he is doing the same to every left-hander that comes up. As you see the shift on, throwing that slider down under their hands, and then that explosive fastball up.
Bowers went down looking at a fastball his first time. He cranks this one out to right center. Bautista back in the gap. He gets there and makes the catch. 1 out. Time for T-Mobile's hats off for heroes. Gil Hodges, who should be in the Hall of Fame, was also a member of the United States Marine Corps. One of the reasons he and Seaver bonded the way they did, both were ex-Marines.
Right.
Gil served in some serious combat in World War II in the Pacific.
4 home runs in a game.
Yep. Yes, he did.
Wilson Ramos up for the second time, and he chops one down to Frazier. 2 out. So DeGrom staked to a lead and has retired the first 2 in the 4th.
The wind is really whipping. I can't tell if it's blowing in.
It's left to right.
Left to right.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's whipping.
The flags up above the left field fence in the very top. They're the ones that are true where the wind's coming from. It's a westerly wind, I believe.
That's what I'm picking up.
Northwest. And you know, we've seen some balls carry out to right. The one that Bautista ran into the bullpen gate just kept on traveling. Joey Wendell bluffing a bunt. That's don't have a full shift on against him. That slider in on his hands again. It's 0-2.
Well, we know what's so good about DeGrom, and I've noticed now, and you know he's just been outstanding, is that when he does throw that slider to the left-hand hitter, or a right-hander hangs it over the middle, that's you can get hurt. He pounds that slider down and in and down into the hands of the left-hander. Real consistent with it.
As Rocco calls for the fastball up, and Wendell gets a piece of it to stay alive. Well, inside has been a big piece of DeGrom's season. We showed the numbers in his last start in Miami. Less than 20% of his fastballs were on the inner quarter last year, over 40% this year, an enormous difference under a new pitching coach who has stress pitching inside. Wendell flies one out to left. Conforto circles in. Side retired. 7 in a row set down by DeGrom. We go to the bottom of the 4th. 1-0 New York. Todd Frazier leads off the home fourth inning and takes a strike from Ryan Yarbrough. Frazier grounded out to second base his first time up. Well, the Rays play a full shift against Frazier. Why? Well, here's the percentage of times that he's hit the ball in his last 100 at bats on balls hit 200 feet or less, basically on the infield.
So only 15% on the right side, 85 the other. So that's the stuff they're look at today, folks.
Interesting, though, that with 2 strikes now, they move the second baseman over to the right side of the bag. Figuring if he's going to go up the middle or to right field, now's the time with 2 strikes. Don't do that against a lot of guys.
Yeah, especially against Yarbrough, who's not a hard thrower.
And he rolls that one out to short. Adames circles in, low throw, and this one's picked by Bowers. Second poor throw by Adames. Bowers didn't catch the first one. This time he scoops it.
Not an easy pick right here. In between hop. Work from the bottom up. Well done.
Bowers is a guy who was an outfielder that has moved to first, and they've been talking very positively about his defense. But certainly he should have caught the ball that Adames threw when Nimmo grounded in the third, which led to the Mets' run. He was, though, charged an error on the throw.
Well, when they played the Marlins, Bauer they put in left field because they wanted C.J. Cron's bat in the lineup. They thought they might do that tonight, but Bauer's at first.
This is a Tampa Bay team that's very much in a state of flux. They've got a lot of, journeyman type players, but the young players that they feel are going to be there for the long term are Bowers and Adames. And yet Kiermaier to that, he's signed for I think 3 more years. Everything else is very much up in the air. Ramos is going to be a free agent. He's almost certainly going to get traded.
Adames is their Rosario.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Here's ball 4, and Mesoraco's on for the second time. Second walk given up by Yarbrough. Well, the Rays have fought back to get to 500, which is very impressive. But they're basically out of it in that division, which sports the teams with the 2 best records, or 2 of the best records in the major leagues,
and 2 of the probably highest salaries.
But Tampa Bay was able to compete for a long time with less than optimum payrolls. I mean, they made the postseason 4 times in a 6-year span, including a World Series trip in 2008 that got it started. But it's been harder for them to keep up lately.
Yeah. Well, what happens is that they develop these players like David Price and others who become stars, and they're going to command money that they can't pay them.
Of course, this past offseason, the trade of their longtime stalwart Evan Longoria. Rosario flies one to shallow left. Adames goes out to call for it and puts it away for the second out. Well, they started play the same year as the Diamondbacks in 1998, and 10 years later made it to the World Series. 4 postseason appearances, all of them between 2008 and 2013.
When Joe Madden was there, right?
Name change along the way.
Yes, they did.
From Devil Rays to Rays, from a fish to a sunbeam.
They did a nice job because I never never make a mistake saying, well, could do it tonight.
We did for a while.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when the Marlins went from being Florida to Miami. It took, better part of a year to not make that mistake.
Shea Stadium to Citi Field.
That's still going on. It's only the 10th year ballpark. DeGrom struck out his first time up. Mets tonight are starting a stretch of 17 straight games in the city. 11-game homestand, then the All-Star break, then 3 at Yankee Stadium, and then 3 back here.
Oh, that sounds delightful.
It's a long time. Almost 3 weeks at home. Curveball from Yarbrough strikes out DeGrom, his 3rd strikeout. We head for the 5th. 1-0 New York. been in command so far. Very similar to his last start in Miami, when he just looked splendid for the first 5 innings, and then it all went backwards in the 6th. See if he can hold it together a little longer today. Jacob deGrom in just his 4th full big league season. No runs or 1 run allowed in 56 of 124 career starts.
Amazing.
Daniel Robertson leads off for the Rays in the 5th. And takes a strike.
He's got a good slider for a strike today. Start off hitters. Get ahead and count.
It's interesting because his last start, he really featured his changeup more than he had any game this year. And there's a base hit for Robertson leading off in the 5th. And I don't think he's thrown more than a couple of changeups all day. So Robertson's aboard, 3rd hit off deGrom.
I think his direct quote was his slider was garbage.
Yeah. Well, I guess he retrieved it. It was actually recycled. Now Malik Smith, who banged one off the right center field fence for a triple his first time up. Smith's best tool is his speed, and you have to be wary about the bunt in this situation. Frazier wise to that. And Smith gets tight in a knot on a fastball running in on him and couldn't stop the swing.
Yeah, that's called locking the valves right there.
Remember Smith, Gary, you alluded to it when he came up with Atlanta, probably rushed to the major leagues that year and has been traded a couple times since then.
But the Braves got him in the Justin Upton deal from San Diego. Popped up behind the mound. deGrom says, I'll take it. Look at that. A pitcher can catch a pop up.
Beautiful.
Cabrera says, I've never seen a guy do that before.
Well, he can do it.
How dare you?
I mean, he wanted it all the way.
Exactly. He knew where it was hit.
He was not relinquishing.
Plus, with his arms up in the air catching it, Cabrera has no chance of getting up that high.
The only advantage that I think that Cabrera has in that situation, as Willie Adames steps in, if perhaps the hitter has neglected to run on the pop-up, he would be able to see whether that happened and let the ball drop and maybe turn double play.
Well, if there's any pitcher who could do that too, it would be deGrom.
Adames struck out his first time up.
Robertson had a big lead.
That is Adam Kolarek, who just was called up today by the Rays, a former Met farmhand. With the pitcher spot due up next. C.J. Cron on deck to pinch hit. Second time he's been on deck tonight.
That's right. There's been a couple of pitchers around baseball that were Mets, not farmhands, or at least pitching the big leagues for the Mets or the minor leagues. You see what Neil Ramirez is doing for the Cleveland Indians? He's been outstanding.
Really?
Yes.
He was definitely not outstanding as a Met. Oh, Ollie's on that staff too, right?
He's doing great too.
There goes the runner. Throw by Mesoraco into the runner, but a nice tag by Cabrera, and they get Robertson for the second out. Robertson did not get a great jump, and even though the throw wasn't perfect, the tag was.
Look at the quick release of Mesoraco. Now the throw is offline of tag, runs into the runner. But I've seen enough of Mesoraco behind the plate. He has got a very quick release.
Sometimes the runner tips his hand. Being late on that pickoff, knew he was running.
Thomas hits one well to center. Nimmo back onto the track at the wall. It's out of here. Willie Adames with his 3rd major league home run. And the Rays tie up the game.
I did not think that he got that ball. It was up in the strike zone. And that ball just seemed to carry. Nimmo just runs out of room.
Gave it every effort. But that ball was almost up over the black.
Let's take a look at this. I thought he got under it too much. Let's see. Uppercut swing. No, he got it. He needed to elevate that fastball another 4 inches, and that would have been an F8 on your scorecard.
You got to be happy with the throw out of Robertson, right?
C.J. Cron, who leads the Rays in home runs with 16, also leads them in strikeouts, and he's down to the count 0-2. Just managed to get a piece of that.
There's the pitch. He wanted to elevate it a little bit higher. That's where his bread and butter is, above that, the letters.
3 home runs for Adames in 76 big league at bats. And the home run ball, which was not impacting DeGrom earlier, now has bitten him, as it did in his last start in Miami.
I know they don't have a large bench, Tampa Bay, but interesting to use Cron here with 2 outs when he's probably one of your best power hitters.
Maybe thinking 2 out, nobody on, hit a ball out of the ballpark.
It's early for that.
Yeah.
You know, off DeGrom. I mean, it could happen, but
they had a 5-man bench. They already used field. They've got Carlos Gomez on Adeni Echeverria and the backup catcher Jesus Sucre. And Cron lifts one along the line. A long run for Bautista, and it lands foul.
good hitter's number, 44.
It's a good hitter's number.
Yes, it is. Outstanding.
I saw a pitcher with the Mets wearing it. Bob Myrick. Oh, and you too.
I did too.
What were you thinking?
What was I thinking? They put it on my stool. That was it. I didn't say anything in
Why
those
would
days.
Charlie give you 40?
It wasn't Charlie. It was the. Was it Herb?
Oh, it was before?
Yeah, it was the guy before Charlie.
Oh, when Charlie was fat boying in Philly?
3-2 from DeGrom. And Cron draws a walk after DeGrom got ahead of him 0-2. He loses Cron for his first walk of the night. And now he'll start his third time around the batting order with Kevin Kiermaier, who legged a double in the first inning and then struck out in the third, 1 for 2.
The ball he hit that he turned into a double was a ball down. So Keith was right before, said that he can't handle the ball up, but the ball down he can.
Oh, nice.
Curveball for a strike. Rays 1 run, 4 hits. The Mets 1 run, 2 hits. Mets got an unearned run in the third. Adames' home run matching that. Kiermaier bounces one foul. 0-2. Kevin Kiermaier out of Parkland College in Illinois. Mets had a player who went to Parkland College, pitcher Juan Acevedo.
Kiermaier in the second year, I believe, of a 6-year contract.
For a guy who was a 31st round draft pick, not bad. Ball stopped by Mesoraco, 1-2.
For me, that was kind of a show me pitch from Kiermaier. Something down and in. Now he should elevate that fastball and get it up around neck high.
1-2 coming. And he comes up and in. 2-2. Grown at first and 2 out. And Kiermaier goes down to the changeup to retire the side. 5 strikeouts for DeGrom. Second time he's got Kiermaier, but the Rays get even on Willie Adames' home run. Halfway through at Citi Field, Mets and Rays tied at 1.
Consider the most important point in fielding your position as a pitcher?
Well, Ralph, the most important point is that when you follow through, you have to come to a complete stop, and with your both feet parallel with each other. So it's the worst thing you can do is to be off balance because you can't go to your right or left. So if you can come to a complete stop with your both feet parallel, you'll be balanced to go each way.
One of the greatest men I've ever met in baseball.
So true.
Al Jackson.
It was the old Polo Grounds.
That Mets memory presented by Burton LLP Accountants and Advisors.
If Al, you're listening, we love you. Ronnie and I, we love you, boy.
He was my mentor.
Oh, man. I just think the world of Al Jackson. He was just fabulous.
Adam Kolarek making his season debut for the Rays. He pitched in a dozen games for them last year. Spent 6 years in the Mets farm system. Mets drafted him out of the University of Maryland, so it's got to be pretty special for him pitching here.
That's right. 11th round in 2010. He is the 27th different pitcher that the Rays have used this year.
Might be 57 by the time the year's over. Nimmo scored the only Met run after reaching on an error in the third. 0 for 2 tonight. And he lifts one to shallow right. Smith didn't take a great angle. Now he gets there and makes the catch.
Al Jackson was like the Mark Twain of pitching coaches. He used to have all these beautiful stories that he would tell you about how to approach hitters. And his big thing is you had to have fastball command on the outside corner because that's where he felt you had the most outs. But he didn't say it like that. He'd say, now if you're fishing and all the fish are over here, you're not going to fish over there. You're going to fish over here.
That makes perfect sense.
That's right.
Bautista flies one out the left, and Wendell goes back to get it 2 out.
And I had never heard, you know, folks speak that way, you know, with those a lovely way of describing things. And he just was such a joy to be around.
And I remember Al used to run with you guys.
Oh, he was tough love. You know, he wanted you to do those posts from foul pole to foul pole. And he'd do them with you.
The whole foul pole? Foul pole to foul pole?
Yeah.
Not 3/4?
No, foul pole to foul pole.
Oh, boy.
20 a day.
I didn't like those.
Al was with the Mets their first 4 seasons, 62 through 65. And as a result, because he was on those teams that, you know, lost 120, 110, his record with the Mets was 43-80. But he pitched some memorable games. And how about this? He started 184 games for the Mets, finished 138.
Jeez. And just a wisp of a guy. You know, I don't really think about stats as a Met or any of that kind of stuff, but I think it's great symmetry that as a Met, Al and I had the same number of shutouts.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really?
Al was listed at 5'10", 169 pounds. Maybe.
Might have been an embellishment.
Yeah. Almost 5'9".
Great athlete, though.
Al's now 82 years old. Cabrera shoots one foul. He was with the Mets organization forever.
Ever.
Just, you couldn't ask for a better demeanor. Happy to see everybody, had a story to tell.
He could get tough with you, though, if you were lollygagging it. He had no problem letting you know.
And a great laugh.
Yes, he did.
Infectious.
Yes, he does.
One and two to Cabrera, and he chases for strike 3. So Kolarek, against the team that drafted him, pitches a 1-2-3 inning. Halfway through, tied at 1. Sixth inning, 1-1 game. Matt Duffy leads off against Jacob deGrom. Duffy's grounded to short and lined out to right 0 for 2. It'll be Duffy, then Jake Bauers and Wilson Ramos against deGrom. does not look completely on top of his game right now.
He looks irritated. Well, he hasn't been able to get that fastball in. He's going back in there. That time he did.
But his velocity's down a little bit.
I found it, Garrett.
What's that?
Rojas. We're talking about Cookie Rojas.
You and I were talking.
Yes, when we got to tune
people out there didn't hear that.
We were talking about Al Jackson, so we kind of segued into another great Met coach, Cookie Rojas, 1972. Hit the pinch hit home run in the All-Star game, Cookie.
Duffy retired on the grounder to short. Here's Jake Bauers, who has struck out and fly to right. Full shift on against Bauers. And he takes a changeup for a strike. Hit to third, and a nice pick by Frazier. Do or die, and he did.
Pick it and grin it.
2 out. Let's check in with the studio. Eamon McEnany has a game break brought to you by your Tri Honda dealers. Eamon. The Phillies beginning the day just a game out of first place in the National League East. Braves are up 1-0 over the Brewers in the second after Milwaukee beat them last night. Phillies trying for their 5th in a row tonight. And how about the Nationals comeback yesterday?
Yeah, really.
After their players only meeting, they go down 9-0 and come back to win. Biggest comeback in the majors this year.
It was interesting that apparently in that players only meeting, Max Scherzer did most of the talking. You don't usually have a starting pitcher do most of the talking, but he has the most gravitas on that team.
You don't usually have a starting pitcher like Max Scherzer.
That's right.
And I would say most of the veterans on that team are more quiet.
Laid back.
Yeah. Especially since Jason Worth is now retired. Ramos is grounded out twice, and he just gets a piece, and then one clanks off Mesoraco. Game 2 of this series, 4 o'clock game tomorrow. Mets will have Steven Matz on the mound. Coverage begins at 3:30 tomorrow afternoon right here on SNY. Battle of lefties tomorrow. Blake Snell has had a breakout season for the Rays. He and Matz hook up, and then Chris Flexen will come up to pitch Sunday against Nate Eovaldi. Ramos down on the slider. DeGrom has his 6th strikeout and a 1-2-3 top of the 6th. Still 1-1. Live streaming presented by Verizon. Just visit SNY.TV or download the NBC Sports app today for live streaming coverage of every SNY Mets game.
Yeah, guys, you're on TV.
Michael Conforto leads off the home sixth against Adam Kolarek, and he hits one toward the middle. That's a base hit. So jumping on a first pitch, off-speed pitch. Conforto, who struck out his first 2 times up, pokes one up the middle.
Goes back to what you were saying, Gary, before about his average against left-handers.
Hanging slider up in the strike zone. Was probably going to be his last batter anyway, and the right-handers are going to come in.
So Kevin Cash takes the baseball. Kolarek leaves. Phone rings. Diego Castillo, the right-hander, coming in. Call to the bullpen, brought to you by Verizon.
Well, last time he appeared a game, he struck out the side. Half of his appearances, he's gone more than an inning, so he can go a little longer than your average reliever.
He's pitched in a dozen big league games. 24 years old. Didn't sign till he was 20, which is rare for a player out of the Dominican Republic. Wilmer Flores, first man to face him, and he yanks one foul. Wilmer's grounded to third and lined out to short, 0 for 2. Started the night with an 11-game hitting streak. Believe it or not, no Met in the last 3 seasons has had a hitting streak as long as 12 games. Last Met to have a 12-game hitting streak was Daniel Murphy and Michael Kadire in 2015. In fact, the Mets are the only team that has not had a 12-game hitting streak in any of the last 3 seasons. So Wilmer has a chance to get there tonight. Those are the home numbers we were talking about earlier, especially recently. Starting pitching has been great, but everything else, as Joe Girardi used to say, not what you'd want. Tap past the mound. Adames in, flips to second. They get the force, but not the double play. Nifty move by Adames to redirect that ball to Robertson for the force play.
Boy, you want to make sure a 1 here. Shovels it to him nicely. And Wilmer beat it out.
You know, there's a game that ball players play occasionally called, they will, I can't come up with flip. They call it flip. and they will take the ball and flip it to each other just with the glove. That's what that was.
So 1 out and 1 on for Frazier. Has been up twice and grounded out both times. And he takes a slider off the plate, ball 1.
Look how wide open the glove is. That's the key. Catch the ball and then open your hands completely. Accentuate it. Spread that glove wide open and just shove it to your teammate.
Thomas has some flair, doesn't he?
Yeah. The thing I think that made that play harder is he didn't have time to adjust the glove, right? He got it in the wide glove, and then he kind of had to flip it from the angle it was at rather than an optimal angle just to get it there in time. Frazier lifts one out to right, back in the gap. Smith, he won't get it, and it's off the wall. Flores digging for third. He's going to be waved around. The relay throw by Robertson. He's going to be out by a mile. Frazier goes all the way to third. Glenn Sherlock a little over aggressive with the slow-footed Flores, who gets thrown out by 25 feet. Eight 4-2 on the putout.
Well, dead as a doornail, as we would say. And Boomer's been around long enough for everybody to know that, you know, his speed.
Frazier went to third on the throw. He gets credit for a double. Mesoraco up with 2 out and a runner at third. Well, you can understand that, especially at home where the Mets have had such trouble scoring runs, you'd like to be aggressive, but with 1 out, that's a bad scent.
Well, Wilmer got a pretty decent read. Let me tell you, he was almost at second base, but
interesting positioning by the cutoff man.
Yes.
That's about as deep as you'll get a cutoff man.
And I think also because of the angle, which was not perfect, maybe that's what influenced Sherlock to send him, because he wasn't lined up properly.
Yeah.
But, you know, Kiermaier's got a great arm. Got it to Robertson, and Robertson didn't make a mistake. Mesoraco is singled and walked. Castillo behind him 3-0. And there's a strike.
Castillo, hard sink, hard slider.
And Mesoraco rips one foul. Frazier had to duck. Held his heart in his hand.
Frazier makes like Fred Sanford coming to get me.
Draw Castillo's attention. And then Mesoraco chases a slider for strike 3, and the Mets are turned aside. After 6, still 1-1. All right, Eamon, a check in on the latest Jacob deGrom head-scratching mystery. I mean, of all the numbers I've seen in baseball this year, as Joey Wendell pops up the first pitch of the 7th inning, and Conforto calls off Rosario for the first out. I mean, the fact that over a stretch of 13 starts, pitcher can have a 1.42 ERA and his team be 3-10 over that span is almost impossible.
That's right.
I mean, it takes such a confluence of lack of offense, lack of bullpen, and bad luck. It boggles the mind.
Yeah, it's all rolled into one.
There's Daniel Robertson, who had a base hit his last time up, then was caught stealing, and he takes a fastball for a strike.
And I will say on Jacob's end, all you can keep doing is keep doing. You know what I mean? Keep throwing it.
What was the year that Nolan Ryan had, where I think he led the league in ERA and he was 8-16 or something?
I want to say it was 87, but he had like an ERA in the ones.
Right. So I mean, that kind of thing happens. But to have the best ERA in baseball and have your team lose time after time when you pitch is crazy.
You know, your job as a starting pitcher is give your team the best chance to win. He does every single time out, right? So it's not only that he's not getting the win, but the team is not. That's.
I mean, his last 2 starts have been what in the baseball lexicon, 6 innings, 3 runs, are called quality starts. Those were his bad starts, are the quality starts.
That's right.
2-2 coming, and it's taken low. In 87, you got the year right.
Okay.
Ryan was 8-16, and even then, in an era where wins were more valued, he finished 5th in the Cy Young ballot.
Wow.
So he was respected enough. 3-2 coming, and Robertson takes one on the outside corner. 96 on the black. 7th strikeout of the night for deGrom.
That was a great job by Mesoraco. He stole that strike, caught it late, and kind of just brought it in just enough. I thought it was off the plate. It was. But watch his hand. Catches it late and moves it just to the left late.
Brian Knight, the home plate umpire, bought it.
To his left. Camera right.
TV term. Here's Malik Smith. And he pulls one just foul. Malik's hit one off the fence in right field. Kevin Cash benched Malik Smith in the middle of a game on Tuesday for what Cash described as multiple instances of missing signs. Sat him again on Wednesday, back in the lineup tonight.
That was always terrifying when you were a young player up in the big leagues. I was petrified that I would miss a sign, especially with that Cardinal bunch of veterans. So I was always intent on watching. You always look for the indicator, whatever the indicator is, and then you know the signs and you know the wipe off. So that you look for the indicator, wherever the indicator was. That it could be second sign after. So if the indicator was the right hand to the bill of the cap, it could be the 3rd sign after, and then you had maybe hit and run across the chest. Indicator means the third base coach can put any sign he wants on. It means nothing until he goes to the indicator, which is designated. Could be anything. And once that goes to the indicator, whatever that is, then it's either the next sign after, the 3rd sign after. And if he doesn't wipe it off, we'll go to break. Then it's on.
I'm wiping you off right now.
Take us away, Garrett.
8 strikeouts for deGrom. Still 1-1 at the stretch. Here's your Mets box score presented by Fidelis Care. Mets have only 4 hits as Dribble Cabrera the only RBI. As we go to the bottom of the 7th, Ahmed Rosario leads off against Diego Castillo, who begins his 2nd inning of relief. Rays used 4 pitchers so far, none for more than 2 innings. And Rosario takes ball 1, and we check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Gary, there's been a lot of talk recently about trying to get Ahmed Rosario to be shorter to the baseball. And a big way that the Mets coaching staff is trying to get him to do this is for him to, and it sounds simple enough, be aware of not letting his top hand go. As you see right there, he flies out to center field, but he kept both hands on the bat. And again, that sounds so basic, but it's something that Rosario doesn't do all that much. And when he does keep both hands on the bat, he is just naturally shorter to the baseball. His swing is not getting long. And in addition, he has a little bit of an extra split second to hold up on a pitch. He doesn't need to commit to it as soon as he has in the past.
Now it's DeGrom. 95 pitches through 7 for Jake, and so he'll get the 8th. Struck out in both his at-bats so far tonight.
Diego Castillo has the same stuff as Diego Segui did in the 60s and 70s. Hard sinker, hard slider.
You know his body type reminds me of Fernando Rodney.
Yeah. He's barrel-chested, isn't he?
He's got big lower half, big legs.
Oh, 2 to DeGrom. He slashes 1 foul.
So we were talking before about the pros of using an opener. Think about the different styles you've had. Stanek with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball and split finger. Yarborough's kind of a touch and feel guy. Kolarek, who's a sidearm left-hander. Castillo with the hard sinker and slider. The versatility is its strength.
DeGrom strikes out for the 3rd time tonight. 2nd strikeout for Castillo. And that's now 10 for Rays pitching. Well, you think they planned it that way? You think that that is part of the planning on a game where Kevin Cash is going to run an opener out there to make that progression through a contrast like that?
I think that they would like to do it that way. The only problem you have is when you're going to premeditatively go with 6, 7, 8 pitchers, each guy has to be good. If you have one that has a tough night, that ruins your whole scripted plan. 2, you're done.
Brandon Nimmo was 0 for 3 tonight. Struck out, reached on there, scored the only Met run, and flied out. DeGrom getting ready for the 8th. And Nimmo takes a fastball off the plate. 2-0. Bautista would be next. Bounce to the right side. Robertson has it. And Castillo throws a 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th. DeGrom heads back to the hill. 1-1 going to the 8th. gone 8 innings this year, and he'll attempt to do that again tonight as he faces 8-9-1 in the Rays batting order in the 8th inning. Willie Adames, responsible for the only run, homered his last time up, lines this one out to left center, and Conforto reels it in. 1 pitch and 1 retired for DeGrom in the 8th. Okay, I got you this time.
Adames is a free swinger, isn't he? He's just going up there hacking.
And now Carlos Gomez will pinch hit. Carlos, who began his career as a Met, has become world famous for his attack of the Gatorade containers.
Callaway came off the bench. I didn't know what he was coming off the bench for.
I don't know either. Gomez having a rough go of it, hitting just 195, which informs the decision to attack the Gatorade container. The Rays, though, today put out a very funny video online.
Oh.
Gomez is hit by the pitch. Changeup from DeGrom that just got away from him. Anyway, they sent out a video of him snuggling up to a Gatorade container, making amends.
Good for them. They had fun with it.
I mean, that was one of the best snaps I've seen in a long time.
Who's the Dodger pitcher who did it in Dodger Stadium? Left-hander. He was a starting pitcher. They weren't getting him any runs. He had a good snap too.
Jerry's Familia up in the Mets bullpen as DeGrom works toward 100 pitches. Go ahead run at first with the speed of Gomez. Kiermaier at the plate, 1 for 3 tonight, and there goes Gomez, first pitch. Mesoraco's throw is a good one, but he's safe. Excellent throw, but Gomez beat it anyway.
I had a hunch he was going to run here and try to steal, get in scoring position.
I was very surprised that there wasn't a throw over, at least on the first pitch, to test the waters.
Another strong throw from Mesoraco.
That is the first steal against DeGrom in his last 13 starts. That's how good he's been at controlling the running game.
You better be careful too, because you never know with Gomez. He might go again.
Rosario keeping an eye on him so he can't get too far away. 0-1 to Kiermaier. And he takes inside, a ball and a strike.
I just get the feeling that DeGrom in his mind goes, gosh, I just have to be perfect to get a W. Jeez.
That's certainly true, but you can't develop a fatalistic attitude about it.
No question.
Rosario gets to the bag, but Gomez wasn't far off. I mean, you can't think to yourself, here we go again.
Right.
You just can't go that way.
No, all you can think of here is that you got to put up a 0. Simple as that.
And he's been as good as there is with runners in scoring position coming into the night. Opposition hitting 139 against him with runners in scoring position. Again, Rosario goes to the bag. So they're accomplishing the purpose of keeping Gomez close.
Well, it's a lot tougher with Kiermaier, the left-handed hitter up there. That's how you get an ERA like DeGrom has.
And Duffy waiting on deck. And Kiermaier takes it up and in. It's 3-1. Jacobs walked only 1 tonight, struck out 8.
Sorry, Gary. DeGrom wanted that pitch.
Tim Peterson up alongside Jerry's Familia in the bullpen.
I know he's only batting a buck and change. I would not give in to Kiermaier in this game tied. Make him hit my pitch even though he's ahead in the count.
Went to the changeup and it's 3-2.
Good pitching. Redundant when DeGrom's on the mound.
Well, you can do that 3-1. You're going to win.
3-2 coming. Hit hard. Wilmer's got it at the breadbasket. 2 out. And Gomez goes to third.
Well, that had to be right at Wilmer because that ball was hit right on the nose. Really the only handful of mistakes DeGrom has made. It's right in front of it, and he did. He took it right off the body, Keith.
Well, he didn't have any chance to make a move. It just was right at him. And
so this inning featuring the two guys who were once traded for each other, Gomez and Flores. Sort of traded for each other. Go ahead run at third with 2 out. Matt Duffy the batter, and he hits the first one right at Wilmer, who plucks it out of the air, and the side retired. No throw necessary, but he made sure. It's an L3 in your scorecard, and DeGrom gets out of another mess after hitting Gomez and giving up a stolen base for the first time in months. Wilmer right in the middle of everything. Snagged that line drive to end the inning. Still tied at 1.
Buyout, we might be a little short, but you can join us on Geico Sports Night to find out how much more money he could be making. Can I keep the change?
Justine, I think I'd be going with the hundreds rather than the 20s. Jacob deGrom, 105 pitches, 8 innings.
Well,
third time this year he's gone 8.
it's not quite Groundhog Day yet.
Well, the Mets will try and get him a run in the bottom of the 8th against 23-year-old Jose Alvarado.
Another great arm out of that bullpen. Average velocity 97.5, and he can hit triple digits.
Jose Bautista leads off. Good fastball hitter. Takes a big rip at 1. 0-1. Jose has walked twice and flied to left tonight, 0 for 1. Alvarado, the 5th Tampa Bay pitcher. Got 2 from Stanek, 1 apiece from Yarbrough and Kolarek, and 2 from Castillo. And a fastball right down the middle, and it's 0-2. Cabrera and Conforto to follow. Each team with a run and 4 hits. And Bautista grounds one down to Duffy, who boots it. And the Mets have the leadoff man on in the bottom of the 8th. Second infield error of the night for the Rays. The first one led to the Mets run.
Well, Duffy let this ball play him. Tough play. Didn't get in front either. Little semi-Olay here. he gets in front like Wilmer did, then he can cushion that ball in his belly.
So Keith, does he have to charge that right away and get it on the short hop?
Ball's hit pretty hard. He could not have got a short hop.
Okay.
But he's got to stay in front like Wilmer did. And that ball's in your belly, and you make the play to first.
So now Cabrera with the tie-breaking run at first and nobody out. As Dribble takes a fastball strike. Cabrera has the only RBI for the Mets tonight. He cashed in the error by Adames in the third inning, driving in Nimmo with a one-out hit. Ball a strike to his Dribble with Conforto on deck.
A couple of errors in this game by the infield of Tampa Bay.
Well, the lone Met run is a product of that error.
Alvarado 35 games for the Rays last year, now in his 38th game this year. And a fastball hit in the air to right field, carrying well out there, but Smith now steadies and comes in to get it. The wind pattern, my friends, has changed.
Yeah, boy, that blew that ball back big time.
I mean, early in the game, the ball was just flying out in that direction, and that one got knocked down.
Seems like it's coming straight in now.
So 1 out and 1 on, and now Conforto had a base hit to center field his last time up, 1 for 3. And that came against the lefty, and now will face another lefty in Alvarado.
Again, the versatility of these pitchers. Alvarado, very unusual, straight over the top left-hander. You don't see a lot of those.
Busts one in on Conforto, 0-1. Jerry's Familia getting ready in the Mets bullpen to pitch the 9th inning, hoping it's in a save chance, which would be the only chance DeGrom would have to get a win tonight. The high strike, and it's 0-2.
Throws a little bit and has the same body type as the old Pirate left-handed reliever Al Holland. Right over the top fastball, gas.
Wilmer Flores waiting on deck. Nothing more he can do except beg for the 9th. Breaking ball just outside, 2-2. Well, there's Wilmer. Knows his way around late inning heroics. 2-2 coming. Struck him out. Third time Conforto's been struck out tonight. 2 out of the inning.
And it's Conforto's 80th strikeout of the season. Sinker.
Wicked movement.
Well, with Wilmer coming up, they're going to take Alvarado out and bring Chaz Rowe into the game. The right-hander to face Flores. 1-1 in the 8th. We'll be right back. is back, teaming up with the New York Jets. We're looking to help local football leagues with grants, equipment donations, clinics, and Jets game experiences. Does your league need assistance? Apply today at sny.tv/playball. Veteran Chaz Rowe in to face Wilmer Flores with 2 out and a runner at first. Tie game. Bautista takes off, and he steals second without a throw. The second stolen base of the season for Bautista, as Rowe didn't even give him a glance.
Wow. Heads up play by Bautista.
So now a base hit could give the Mets the lead. 1 strikeout to Flores. And the slider backhanded by Ramos to prevent Bautista from going to third.
Rowe's last 18 appearances, 17 have been scoreless, and he does it with his slider. Almost 50% of the time he's throwing that pitch he just threw there.
We've seen him as a Diamondback, as a Yankee, as an Oriole, as a Brave, now with his 5th major league team.
How can you give up a stolen base without a throw in a 1-1 ball game in the bottom of the 8th?
Check swing roller, and Bowers makes the play to end the inning. Wilmer didn't mean to, but he did. Looks like another no decision for DeGrom. 1-1 going to the 9th. Thanks for doing such a great job filling in, Gary. Well, Jerry's Familia for the 9th, which means that Jacob deGrom has now gone 15 straight starts, giving up 3 runs or fewer, the longest streak for the Mets since Dwight Gooden in 1985 went 24 straight starts, giving up 3 runs or fewer.
Well, Familia's numbers, he was as good as I've seen him in his save on Wednesday in Toronto. 2 ground balls and a pop-up.
For just 10 pitches in that outing. Comes into a tie game in the 9th to face the rookie Jake Bowers, and he misses with a sinker for ball 1. Bowers robbed of a hit by Frazier, who made a beautiful pickup in the 6th inning. He's also struck out and flied out tonight. So DeGrom threw 105 pitches over 8 innings, allowed 1 run, 4 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. Pretty much the standard outing for Jake.
That's right.
1 hit batsman, 1 home run. He lowered his major league leading ERA to 1.79. Cardinals stay 5-4. Top back to Familia. 1 out. Those are tonight's starters, brought to you by People's United Bank. Starter on the right, opener on the left.
And that number goes up by 1. And that number is DeGrom, 1 run or less in a start, right, Gary? So at 57 now?
57 out of 125. He's already had 7 games this year where he allowed 1 run or less and his team lost. That has already tied a major league record. I mean, think about that.
No, I know, yeah, I am.
Starter gives up 1 run or less and his team loses 7 times already this year. And, you know, could be 8 by the end of the night. Mets are certainly hoping otherwise.
I'd have to commend him. I would have been a basket case.
He's holding it in pretty nicely, you'd have to say. Slider misses into Ramos, 2-0.
So I feel like Familia in this last outing finally got his arm slot on his fastball correctly. Arm position, hand position. But he's still dropping down on his slider a little bit. And I don't know if that's just bad habits early in the year when he had to go on the DL or.
Well, he's had. It was the shoulder that put him on the DL. So would that be consistent with a guy dropping his arm like that?
Yeah, whenever you have an arm that's a bit compromised, you will throw from where it doesn't hurt. Simple as that.
And of course, when you throw a slider and drop your arm, you risk getting under the ball.
That's right.
That's when it hangs. Doing 1 to Ramos, who's grounded out twice and struck out tonight, and he takes a fastball for a strike. 2-2.
Boy, I don't understand that. Taking all the way 2-1. I don't get it. I don't get it. Just don't get it.
And he usually doesn't make any mistakes offensively against the Mets.
It's true. Great career numbers against New York. Most of that compiled as a net. Who, by the way, might be in the running to get him back. I mean, the Nationals have a huge problem at catcher, and there have been rumors that they might deal for Ramos and put him back in Washington.
Reedus has been hurt, and Severino's taken a step backwards.
Yeah, he looked great when we saw him.
Yep.
3-2 coming to Ramos, and he tops 1 foul. Speaking of Met closers, it turns out a lifetime ban is a lot shorter than it used to be. Henry Mejia is apparently about to be cleared to return to action,
which I find hard to believe
after being banned for life.
A lot of shame to go around on that one.
3-2. Outside, ball 4, and Ramos is on with a 1-out walk. I wonder if they would consider pinch running for him. The problem is they have a short.
They are, and it's going to be possibly a pitch.
Oh, it is a pitcher.
Yep. Because they've only got 2 guys.
Echeverria and the backup catcher Sucre. That's Hunter Wood running for Ramos.
What are the chances of him pulling 2 hamstrings?
He's got fast hair.
I don't think he's going to be taking a lot of chances. Here's Joey Wendell. 0 for 3, hit the ball in the air 3 times. And he takes a sinker for a strike.
Infield pretty straight up. Outfield no doubles. Familia's got to make sure he steps off before he moves those hands.
Certain umpires call it.
Yeah.
Tim Peterson is staying loose in the Mets bullpen. Last homestand, you'll remember, Familia was left in a little too long, and Mickey Callaway, learning on the job this time, is going to let that happen. Wendell pokes one foul. It's 1-2. That's back-to-back splitters from Familia. I'm not sure we've seen that all year. Nimmo moving from right center over to left center with 2 strikes on the hitter. Two to Wendell, and he lines one over short. Base hit. Wood pulls in at second. A soft single for Wendell, and the Rays have 2 men on at the top of the 9th.
I think that was a slider. Stayed up in the zone.
It was. And just too much in the middle.
You know, Mesoraco called for that pitch, and he tapped his glove on the ground. He wanted that in the dirt, but Familia couldn't execute the pitch.
Dave Island on his way out to the mound to talk to Familia before he faces Daniel Robertson with 2 men on.
Robertson, a 204 hitter with runners in scoring position.
Now you got to shorten up in the outfield so you can have a play at the plate. Robertson has a hit off the ground tonight.
Well, you got Hunter Wood, the pinch runner, at second, and as far as I can tell, he has never done this before in the majors or the minors. Robertson 1 for 3, and he takes a fastball for a strike.
Pinch running is a lot like playing defensive player late in the game. I feel like all you can do is kind of screw up.
Sinker there from Familia, and it's 0-2. Got the left-hand hitter Malik Smith on deck. Walk and a soft single will put 2 men on. Wood, the pinch runner, at second. Wendell at first. Robertson is hit by the pitch, and that loads the bases.
Boy, that almost got him in the wrong spot. That is the back inner thigh that nailed him. Got him nailed.
Mickey Callaway
asking if he swung.
Like Devin Mesoraco asking if the hitter swung, but that's not a challengeable call.
Look at this.
No, he just threw his hands up in the air to try to avoid it.
We had that play in Toronto the other day. Hitter was hit by a pitch, but they called the swing, which negated the hit by pitch.
Callaway's outside. Is he going to continue, or
that's not a challengeable call. I don't know what they were on the phone as though they were anticipating challenging it.
There's no challenge. The umpires decide that.
Right. Hit by pitch versus foul ball, or not being hit by a pitch, that's challengeable, but not whether he swung or not.
Now
so the Mets are going to have to bring the infield in here because you got Malik Smith at the plate who can fly, so you can't think about turning a double play. You've got to play for the play at the plate.
The Mets don't have a left-hander in the bullpen.
Jerry Blevins is on bereavement leave. His grandmother passed away. Now Smith with an ugly cut and a pitch running in on him.
Jeez.
Had a couple of those tonight.
Boy, that is a definite weak spot right there. That's the second time he's swung like that on a pitch up and in.
Keith, back to Frazier holding. It's the pitcher pinch running. I wouldn't hold him on. Get off and try to cover that hole against Smith, who's kind of a punch hitter anyway.
be a little more in if I was Frazier, and you never know. Bases loaded, you don't normally put a squeeze on.
Grounded down to first. Wilmer comes home. High throw, but Mesoraco gets the tag down. Wilmer short-armed that ball home, and Mesoraco did a great job of bailing out Wilmer and getting the second out.
I've got to see this play again. This is just really a terrible throw by Wilmer. I'm sorry, but
you'd like to try to turn two, but you're not going to on Smith.
I mean, he throws a rainbow here.
I don't understand that throw at all.
Now, I've got to see another angle here. He did not come down on the base.
No, he tagged him.
Right, I understand that. But I want to see if he's safe.
The Rays are challenging.
Yes, I think he might be safe.
I would too.
He doesn't come down on the base.
No, he doesn't. He tagged him. The question is, did he tag him in time? I think he did.
I think he did.
I think he's out. It's a good tag by Mesoraco. Great play. I mean, he had to have the presence of mind to realize rather than searching for the plate, he'd get the tag down.
Well, here's a case of defense. That is a route. That is infield in, a one hopper to the first baseman. That should be a double play, even though Smith runs well.
Well, first of all, Familia wasn't covering first, so there's no way you can turn two because Familia got out of the way.
Well, Wilmer's got to get back after he throws.
There's no way that's happening, and you're not going to double up Smith anyway.
Wow, it's closer than you think.
That's close.
Closer than you think.
I don't think there's enough evidence to overturn it, though. I'd be surprised.
There's Jerry Davis, the crew chief on the right.
And Brian Knight, who made the call. The umpire crew chiefs in the replay center are Dana DeMuth and Tom Hallion.
Jerry Davis, one of the few umpires that was around when we played, Ron.
That's right.
Still around.
You know, the pinch running pitcher did a great job. He slid straight in. That's the quickest way. Oh, it was very, very close. And I'm with you, Gary. I don't think they can overturn it, but a lot closer than it ever should be.
Here they
we
come.
have a decision. Let's see. He's out.
Okay. Boy, I tell you.
Well, Wilmer, boy, you ought to be very happy.
I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, Wilmer made a really nice play in the last inning, but this was it's hard to understand why he would throw a ball in that fashion. Anyway, bases loaded, 2 out. Here's Adames, who homered for the only Tampa Bay run of the 5th. Lined out to left his last time up. Wendell is now the go-ahead run at third. And Adames takes a fastball strike.
For a lot, the Rays team, they are the old school or the new school, old school, where they take a lot of first pitch strikes.
Rays tonight are 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. And Adames fouls one. And it's 0-2. On that. 1-2.
Mesoraco, you got to be very careful when you call from that sinker from Familia. Every once in a while he'll spike it, so you've got to be very defensive behind there, almost like a hockey goalie.
One-two coming to Adames. Struck him out. Familia finds his way through trouble in the top of the 9th. Todd Frazier coming up for the Mets at the bottom of the 9th as the Mets look to yank one out in the opener of the homestand at Citi Field. Jesus Sucre now doing the catching after Ramos left for a pinch runner. Todd Frazier leads off the last of the ninth against Chaz Rowe. Got the final out in the eighth. And Frazier takes inside for ball one. Todd doubled off the wall at right center his last time up. Glenn Sherlock tried to score Flores from first on the plate. Flores was out by a half a mile. Rowe falls behind on Frazier 2-0. Chaz Rowe pitching the bottom of the ninth in a tie game. Sergio Romo has done most of the closing recently since the trade of Alex Colomé to Seattle for Tampa Bay. Of course, Romo's also done some opening in addition to closing.
I was going to say, he's a 24-hour worker. Open, close, whatever you need.
Jack of all innings. Mountain, Mississippi Queen.
There you go.
Dom Smith around the bat rack. And Frazier takes a breaking ball outside. It's 3-1. Mesoraco on deck, and then Rosario. Pitcher spot due up fourth in the inning.
He threw a fastball. Will he do it 3-1? I think he has to.
I'm going to walk the leadoff hitter. And he walked him. He threw a fastball. He just didn't throw it for a strike.
That little Archie Bell in the last one.
Oh, he did. He did.
New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Tri-State Buick. Experience the new Buick for yourself at your nearest Buick dealer. By Empire City Casino, current jackpot is now over $1.1 million. You could be the next big winner. And by Tri-Acura, visit your local Tri-Acura dealer or online at triacuradealers.com.
Now,
potential winning run at first. Devin Mesoraco at the plate.
Gary, you and I saw Mesoraco on not too long ago go to the right side of the infield, and they're going to bunt.
He was showing bunt on the first pitch, and he bunts it foul at the plate.
Boy, it's too bad because they were not prepared for that. Their second baseman Robertson was behind the second base bag. It would have been tough for him to get all the way to first base.
Don't do quite as much bunting in the American League. By the way, Devin Mesoraco has been in the big league since 2011. He has 0 sacrifice bunts. None.
He's going to bunt again. He's giving it away. Okay.
Now the Rays are ready for it. He takes up and away, 1-1.
I let him swing.
That's darn right. Let him rip the bat. Got a big hole in that right side. Mesoraco got a hit not long ago, Gary. I forget where on the road, where he hit the ball to the right side of the infield. Now we'll see where Robertson at second base sets up. He's taking away that hole now.
But now you have up the middle open.
Yeah, and they're charging pretty hard from the corners. I think it's time to swing.
Well,
Mesoraco has been a pretty decent late inning long ball threat. Last sacrifice was in 2009 in A ball. 2 balls and a strike.
Put the hit and run on.
Just let him rip. At the bottom part of the order coming up behind.
Got Rosario, then Dom Smith ready to pinch hit.
There you go. There you go.
Down their minds, and then swing and grounded through the hole, a base hit. Well, he drew the third baseman in with all the bunt attempts, and he hit it right by him through the hole, and now the Mets have the potential winning run at second base. That worked like a charm.
Now you bunt with Rosario.
Yes.
Good. Bring it back. Choking up 2 inches. Well done. Mets are in business. Now let's see what kind of bunt play they're going to put on here. They're going to try to put a wheel. Frazier not the fleetest of foot.
I don't know that American League teams even have the wheel in their arsenal.
No.
They don't see enough bunts to make that a thing.
Also a young rookie shortstop.
Rosario has 2 sacrifices this year.
Got to make Duffy field this ball, because that way you ensure that Frazier gets the third.
Dom Smith on deck to pinch it. Rays have the corners in, looking for the bunt. They play it straight up. Rosario bunts it perfectly. Duffy makes the play to first. Beautifully done by Ahmed Rosario. Just the way they draw it up on the chalkboard. And the Mets now have the potential winning run at third with 1 out.
Perfect. Can't do it any better than this. Duffy has no option but to vacate third base.
You can play this kind of inning, folks. It's fun to watch.
So now the infield comes in and the outfield comes in, only as deep as they can throw. And Dom Smith with a chance to win it for New York. Pitching coach Kyle Snyder is going to go to the mound to talk to Rowe. Now, of course, they have the option here of walking.
Yes, they do.
Dom and then setting up the double play, but then you got Nimmo as a faster player.
That's why you can't do it, in my feeling. But at the same time, you can't be afraid of putting Dom Smith on first. What I mean is, if you get behind the count, don't give in to him. Just, you know.
And I'm sure that's the message that, and you don't even have to say that to the pitcher, because if he gets behind, then you just wave the guy to first base.
Exactly. But, you know, the problem has been Rowe in this inning has been wild. You know, so you give him no out.
Well, he walked Frazier to lead off the inning. That put him behind the 8 ball. Then with Mesoraco set up to bunt, he swung away and hit one through the hole. Then the perfect sacrifice by Rosario, and the Mets have it in the palm of their hand if they can come through and, boy, get the fly ball they need.
Outfield in, real close, as they should. The big left side of the infield. Sacrifice fly. You're looking to go up the middle anyway, not trying to pull.
And Dom hits one back to the mound. Rowe bobbles, but has plenty of time. The runners have to hold, and they're at 2 out. Wow. And so now it's left to Nimmo, and now, do you walk Nimmo to get the right-hand hitter up against Rowe? And they do. They are going to walk Nimmo to pitch to Bautista.
The only issue you have here, righty, is that Bautista might be the hottest Mets hitter.
Bautista's a better hitter against right-handers, what I've seen.
Yeah.
So Bautista with a chance to win it for New York. Bases loaded, 2 out. Tonight he's walked twice, flied out, reached on an error, even stole the base. And most of that coming after he appeared to hurt himself in a contest with the bullpen gate. Frazier carrying the winning run at third with 2 out. And Bautista sucks one to deep left field, and this ball game is over. A walk-off grand slam for Jose Bautista, the first walk-off home run of his major league career. What an ending. His 337th major league home run, the first one that's ever ended a game. And it's a grand slam to boot. And the Mets win it 5-1 to take the opener of this series.
Well, they opted to walk a slumping left-hand hitting Nimmo and go against the veteran. And the veteran came through.
Now this is your Coors Light refreshing finish. He didn't wait around. First pitch.
Fastball, middle end. And no doubt, he knew it.
The Rays could not get anything done in the top of the ninth with the bases loaded. The Mets countered with their best feel inning all season long with a walk, a base hit after trying to bunt, intentional walk, and then a grand slam.
First walk-off grand slam for the Mets since Ike Davis 2014 against the Reds. Jose Bautista, first time he's ever done it. Took him to age 37 to hit a walk-off home run, and he's standing by with Steve Gelbs, and Bautista just got drenched.
Yeah, Gary, he's standing by. I ran away.
We should have done this before. I'm kind of cold.
We'll try and make it somewhat quick. You know that was your first ever walk-off home run, right?
I do. I'm aware of it, so I'm happy we got it done today.
You guys did. Not bad to have a walk-off grand slam to put the exclamation point on that as well. For you, what are you looking for in that spot, first pitch swinging?
Just a good pitch to hit and try to hit it hard. That's all I can do. I'm not trying to do anything else. And lucky for me, I think he was trying to go in maybe, and he left it over the plate.
Is there anything that you see in the previous at-bats when he loads the bases that, in particular, you're looking out for?
Of course, as soon as a guy steps into the mound, we're all paying attention. So I knew he has a sinker and a curveball, and I got a good pitch.
You did get a good pitch. You drove it over the left field fence. Jose, all season long for this team, it's been somewhat of an issue with Jacob deGrom on the mound, scoring runs and winning games for him. When you do pull one out, when he puts out a performance like that, is it a little bit extra for you guys?
100%, because, I mean, maybe we're aware of it, but hopefully that's in the past. He's one of the best pitchers in the game, and he gives us a chance every night. So when you can come through for a guy like that, it's a pretty good feeling.
Jose, appreciate the time. You said you're cold, so I'll let you go. Congrats.
Thank you.
Gary, back to you.
First timer.
Wow.
That is really an amazing thing.
Right.
And he now knows what it feels like to hit a walk-off home run. Only took him 337 odd home runs to do it. And, you know, deGrom doesn't get a win, but at least the Mets win a game he starts as he was himself again.
Yes, he was. 8 innings, just 1 run, only 105 pitches to get through those 8 innings. You know, he's the kind of pro that, you know, he can live with pitching well as long as the team wins. It's tough when he pitches well and they lose. So just the kind of win the Mets have not gotten in about 2 months, and they needed one.
And Bautista's been a godsend. This guy who was looked like his career might be finished after the Braves let him go, and he's been the Mets' best hitter since he got here.
His 4th home run as a Met, and this one a big one. And what I've seen, Gary, and observed, he's struggling. He's hitting under 200 against left-handers. But against the right-handers, he is a real threat and someone you do not want to pitch inside. He's still got the fast bat. He is not finished, and he gets a big hit tonight.
Well, it's a nice start to a homestand for the Mets, an 11-game homestand leading up to the All-Star break. And they get a victory tonight with 8 strong innings from Jacob deGrom. Tonight's game summary presented by Tri-Acura. A walk-off grand slam for Jose Bautista, the 8th walk-off grand slam in Mets history, the 3rd at Citi Field. For every Mets win, the Mets organization is proud to contribute $2,500 to Northwell Health and the Cass Institute for Women's Health. For more information, visit northwell.edu/cats. This win brings the total contribution so far this season to $87,500. SNY's Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. I like the slow motion Gatorade. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by People's United Bank. Checking without curveballs. Member FDIC. By Toyota. Save on the Toyota Camry, Corolla, RAV4, and Highlander this Independence Day. By Spectrum. Hey, Mets fans, get your best TV, internet, and voice service today at Spectrum.com. And by Geico. Over 75 years of savings and service. Mets put together back-to-back wins as they beat the Rays tonight 5-1 on the Bautista walk-off grand slam. Tomorrow a 4 o'clock start. Our coverage begins at 3:30 on SNY with a battle of lefties. Blake Snell against Steven Matz. Mets celebrate a walk-off win in the first game of the homestand. Bautista plays hero. Now for Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez, Steve Gelbs, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen at Citi Field. Time for WB Mason post-game live. Let's join Gary Apple and Nelson Figueroa, guys.